And today we're going to talk about motivation and fuel. Again, I'm a student at John F. Kennedy University, and for sports psychology we do presentations, so thank you guys for being here. I appreciate your time. Last time we were together we talked about goal setting, and the whole focus of that time was how do we do smarter goals. So we go through the SMART goals, but then we take it a little step beyond that, and we add evaluation and reflection into it so that we continually are adjusting our goals and getting better at what we do. So today we're going to kind of shift, but it reflects about that. What are your goals? What are the things that you want to achieve, and kind of continue on from there. So what I want you to ask yourself is, what motivates me? Why do I do what I do? You know, and there's two different types of intrinsic and extrinsic motivation that kind of fuels me. It's like my fire from within. Intrinsic motivation is something that's not given to you. There's no external reward. You just do it because it's something that kind of births from the inside and you can't help yourself. You just desire to do it. And extrinsic is more of outside of yourself, something that you want to obtain, something that somebody's going to give you. So we're going to go through a couple pictures, and if you feel that it's intrinsic, I want you on your papers, you have your worksheets there, I want you to put a little tally mark under the top column to the left, because left is from your heart and intrinsic motivation comes from within, right? So you're on the left side of your paper, you're going to put a little tally. On the intrinsic side, if it's something, the picture reflects something that you would desire, something that would motivate you, okay? If it's something externally that would motivate you, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but if it's something that comes from exterior or outside of yourself, then you put a tally mark on the right side of your paper, okay? It'll become a little more clear as we go through the process. If you have questions, just ask me. So, again, this is motivation. You'll look at the picture, you go, yeah, that puts a little fuel in my fire. I'm ready to go with that thought or that concept, okay? So first slide, winning. Now, winning, do you think that's an intrinsic or an extrinsic motivator?
Intrinsic.
Okay, intrinsic, and why? Let me ask you, why? It's not a wrong answer, I'm just clarifying.
Because you desire to be the best at something.
Okay, now if you desire to be the best, who are you comparing yourself against?
Others.
Okay, so would that be intrinsic or extrinsic? Extrinsic. Okay, now how could you flip it, though, to where, yes, I want to win because I want to be the best and I want to beat somebody, but it's kind of internal as well.
If you're like competing with yourself and trying to make yourself better.
Better than your last performance, right? Does that make sense? Sometimes it's tight. It depends on your motivation and how you frame it in your mind. Okay, so put a tally on which side, which fuels you the most. If it's beating somebody else, that would be an extrinsic motivator. If it's being better than you were the last time, that would be intrinsically motivating. Okay, next slide. Money, intrinsic or extrinsic? Does that come from within or without? Extrinsic. So if you're motivated by making money or having money, put a tally. Next slide. Love. Is that intrinsic or extrinsic?
Intrinsic.
Intrinsic, yeah. In the purest form, right? Unless you're if you're looking for arm candy, then that's way different. That's not love. Fame.
Extrinsic.
Extrinsic, okay. Why do you say extrinsic?
Yeah, because you're in the spotlight.
Yeah, it's somebody else's opinion of you. It's not what you believe in yourself. Okay? Next slide. Success. Okay, so I heard it's intrinsic. And describe, why would that be intrinsic? Go ahead.
Because you want to make yourself better and succeed in what you do, so you kind of have personal growth.
Okay. Yeah, personal growth, and it's, again, it's measured within. Could it ever be extrinsic? How?
You wanna like succeed just because you wanna look good, you wanna succeed for other people to look at.
Okay, exactly. Again, if you're comparing yourself, it's outside of yourself, so it's extrinsic. Challenge. How many of you guys are pumped or motivated by a challenge? Yeah, okay. So that's, again, would that be an intrinsic or extrinsic? Intrinsic, because you just like to achieve, potentially. Next one. Friendship. Intrinsic or extrinsic? Okay, I heard a little bit of both. Explain. Intrinsic, who has that? Believe it comes from within.
Because like if you just want to have like a friendship with someone because like they make you happy, or you just want to be friends with someone because you like them, then it's intrinsic.
You care? Sure, sure. When would it be extrinsic?
When you're friends with someone just to look cooler.
Yeah, you're trying to get in with the in crowd or have some kind of an image, then it would be extrinsic, for sure. Serving others, intrinsic or extrinsic?
Intrinsic.
Hopefully, in the purest form, intrinsic. Not doing it for any gain, you're just doing it out of the goodness of caring. And the next slide. Competition. How many of you are fueled by competition? You know, if you go upstairs, you might race. If you're going to the car, you run and you call the front seat. You know, competition, it just fuels you. But is that an intrinsic or an extrinsic motivator?
It could be intrinsic if you're trying to make yourself better, or like you're trying to like use the competition to like make you work harder.
That would be intrinsic. Sure, sure. They say, you know, metal sharpens metal. You get better when you compete because the challenge keeps getting raised. And there it's an external factor, so I can see how that would be an external motivator, but then at the same time, you're pushing each other and your gain is trying to be like, my next performance is gonna be better. You know, Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, all of those great athletes that sustained greatness at a high level for a long period of time, they competed and they loved competition, but they were constantly competing against themselves and reflecting on their game and what they could do better. Next one. Learning. How many of you just love to learn? If it's something, you just invest yourself. It kind of gets you going. Intrinsic or extrinsic?
Intrinsic.
Intrinsic. Unless we're working for the report card grade, so we can hang it on the fridge, or we can just say we got all A's, or we're in this AP class, or whatever. That's more of a, hopefully it could be just an accomplishment, a goal for yourself, but sometimes it can be used as an extrinsic kind of image. Does that make sense? Okay, next slide. An image. You got a comedian, an athlete, Rosie Riveter, right? Strong woman. I got the image of a partier, or Chancellor of Germany, or smart, affluent man. Image, internal, intrinsic, or extrinsic motivator? Extrinsic. Now some of the concepts overlap, but can you see how just even though there's these common themes, but it's either an intrinsic motivation or extrinsic that drives the force behind it? Okay, next slide. Adventure. It's kind of like a challenge, but this is like challenge on fire, right? Big wave surfing. How many of you would bungee cord jump off of a bridge? Jump out of an airplane, parachute, with a parachute. That's good, that's always good, right? Okay, adventure, travel across Europe with a backpack and yourself, or with a friend. Okay, it's all good. Yeah, so you like that adventure of the unknown. You're good. Now, is that internal or external? Pardon me? Internal. Okay, and why? Go ahead.
Because it makes you like happy, I guess. Like, you want to do it.
Yeah, it's the experience. It's not necessarily, you know, just the achievement of the product, but it's the experience along the way. Okay, next slide. So I'm gonna ask you, why do you do what you do? So you're gonna turn to your partner and you're gonna ping pong, you're gonna have a little ping pong game verbally. And you're gonna say why you guys are volleyball athletes, right? So why you play volleyball back and forth to each other. They can be 1-word, 2-word answers. You have 1 minute and kind of keep track with your fingers how many that you say, add them up, and we're gonna see how many quick fire reasons you can come up with why you do what you do, okay? Ready? So we got 1 minute on the clock. And go.
Okay. Because I like doing it. To make me better.
To be fit.
Okay, 5, 4, final ping or a pong, 3, 2, 1, time's up. Okay, hold up your hands, total, like your partner, put your hands up, how many you got? 24, 7, 7, that's okay, it's content, it's not quantity, it's content. 15, all right. Okay, now, what I want you to do, reflect on those. You can even use your partner's answers. Right in the space below, it says everything has a cost. You want to click to the next slide. Everything has a cost. When we value something deeply, we are willing to pay the price. All right? So what motivates you? Write down in the space you have below the reasons why you came up, why you do what you do. So yours, our example was volleyball. And again, you can use your partners too, that's okay. Okay, I want you to go back through your list and look, put a little mark, some indication that you would know that it's an intrinsic motivator or an extrinsic motivator. Okay, so just go back on your own list and see if you can recall, like think of, oh, this is an intrinsic motivator, this is extrinsic. Make a little mark that would indicate that. Anywhere you want, it's your sheet, so just indicate it on there that you're thinking through the process. Okay, you guys got it? Okay, now if you go through what motivates you, bottom line is we don't always feel like it. Agree? We don't always feel like showing up on Saturday morning when we have a volleyball tournament at American Sports Center and it's cold, it's 7 in the morning to be there. We don't always feel like going to practice for club in the evening when we've already had a long day at school. Agree? What fuels you are the core words that you wrote down, why I do what I do. And sometimes we need reminders to help us fuel ourselves, to tap into that resource, because emotionally we don't have it. And we can fake it till we make it. We can smile, you know, we can sit up tall and get testosterone in our body. We also need to remind ourselves why we're doing what we're doing to make it easier to do it, okay, to count the cost. You have to know what you're in for too. Everything has a cost. So what is the price? What am I willing to sacrifice? The more deeply you care about something, the more you're willing to invest yourself to go for it and do what it costs to achieve what you want. And then commit, right? Know the cost and commit to it. Clint Bruce is the Navy SEAL guy. He's pretty hardcore. And he says go from rhetoric, which is words, to repetitions, doing the hard work, and to get the results. So rhetoric would be the words that you wrote down. These are the reasons why I do what I do. Repetitions, I'm going to apply it. I am going to remind myself why I do what I do, and I'm going to get the results. I'm going to trust that I'll get the results. Down below after that, it says, what's my motto? Think through what your words that you wrote down, you can create your motto, and it kind of reminds you to stay on track. So if I said, what is Nike's motto?
Just do it.
Just do it, right? Okay, not that I'm endorsing, but what is McDonald's?
I'm loving it.
I'm loving it. And those things are common. They just come out because you know, I'm loving it. It just gets sticky in your brain. Think of a motto using your words that maybe will help you put a sticky thought that when it's hard, you can go and reflect back on. Okay, go ahead and just spend a couple minutes doing that. And this is something that can evolve over time too. You know, you can kind of capture it and change it. You know, click the next slide. Let's see, what's yours? Yeah, I love that, because there's so many people that can, right? That's like a grateful model, I like that. Actually, I can. I like it. I like it. That's awesome. Okay, if you didn't get a chance to, like, tell your neighbor what it is, what your motto is. If you didn't get a chance. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, now I want you to think through when you show up for practice, when you work hard, even when you're not feeling like it, or you have a challenge and you go for it, regardless of the results. That's your story. I have a story, and this gives me the right to have my motto and stay grounded in what I want to do. What I want you to think of, down below it says, where will you put your motto to keep you on track? Okay, think practically. I want to stay fueled. I want to stay on track with my motto, reminding me of what I'm going for. Where am I going to put it? You're going to tape it to your locker door. You're going to put it in your backpack where you keep all your volleyball gear. Where are you going to practically keep it that helps you see it and remember it? You can even tape it on your shoe, write it on the bottom, Sharpies. And the last part is, when will you use your motto? You want to kind of plan ahead, and this will be my warm-up message to myself. This is why I do what I do. This is my fuel. Okay, so we're going to kind of wrap up here with our time. But I want you to continue to work on this and reflect, and again, why I do what I do. What is my motivation? What fuels me, whether I feel like it or not, that helps me do and achieve the goals that I have. Next time that we come through, we're going to talk about energy having a cost, and we need to be wise in managing that fuel, and when we should activate ourselves and become a little more energized, and when we recognize that we're a little bit too high, we're a little bit over motivated and it's feeling anxious, and we need to kind of chillax a little bit. So again, that's what's coming forward, but today, why do I do what I do? That's your fuel, that's your motivation. Okay, thank you guys for your time, appreciate it.